Blake Lively's reputation is unraveling faster than one of those cheap Target scrunchies her shampoo line wishes it could sell. And if you think I'm exaggerating, buckle up, because we need to talk about how Blake has turned lawsuits into her full-time job. Forget acting, forget red carpets. Forget the America's Sweetheart PR campaign. Right now, Blake's main gig is suing anyone who dares breathe the same oxygen in her legal orbit. And we're starting with Kimberlie Hamner. Remember her name? Because Blake sure does. Kimberlie is a 27-year-old entrepreneur in Utah. No Hollywood connections, no PR machine, no million-dollar law firm on speed dial. Just a young woman trying to trademark Beauty by Blake, her actual maiden name, for oils and serums. That's it. Serums. Meanwhile, Blake's Family Hive LLC comes storming in like the jealous girl at brunch who side-eyes your outfit because it's too close to hers. The energy isn't protecting a business, it's how dare you show up in the same dress as me, now I'm going to ruin your night. Let's pause here. Kimberlie sells oils and serums. Blake sells shampoo and mousse in bottles that look like medieval torture devices. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is mistaking those two. Unless you genuinely believe shoppers at Target are wandering the aisles asking, wait, is this face serum also a conditioner? Should I rub it on my scalp or dab it under my eyes? Consumers aren't idiots. But in Blake's world, she owns the word Blake. Doesn't matter that it's Kimberlie's actual last name. Doesn't matter that dozens of brands already use the name Blake. Olivia Blake, Ryan Blake, even Smooches by Blake. Nope. Blake Lively decided the name is hers, and she's willing to sue a 27-year-old out of existence to prove it. This isn't about confusion. It's about control. It's about making sure no woman even thinks about building a brand anywhere near hers. And here's the really pathetic part. Blake's team thought Kimberlie would fold. They thought she'd get the scary letter, cry a little, and give up her dream. But Kimberlie didn't fold. She lawyered up, clapped back, and flat out denied every single claim of confusion. She even pointed out the obvious. Blake is a common name. It's weak as a trademark. And if Blake really cared about Beauty by Blake, maybe she should have trademarked it herself instead of waiting until someone else did. Kimberlie isn't playing the victim here. She's playing defense and winning. Now hold that thought, because this same playbook shows up again with Perez Hilton. Wayfarer, Justin Baldoni's company, admitted they'd spoken to multiple media figures about the Lively Baldoni drama. Billy Bush? Yes. Perez Hilton? Yes. So who did Blake's team decide to subpoena? Not Billy Bush. Not the big name with serious backing. Nope. They went straight for Perez. And Perez didn't miss the irony. He said flat out it feels retaliatory, and he's right. Why leapfrog over Billy Bush, a seasoned media figure with real clout, just to go after Perez Hilton? Because Perez is easier prey. He doesn't walk into court with a fleet of lawyers. He doesn't have NBC standing behind him. He's solo. And that's the exact type of person Blake's legal team loves to target. Not equals. Not power players. Just people they assume will break under pressure. Here's what Blake's team didn't count on. Perez refusing to budge. He said he will not give up his sources, period, because if he does, his credibility as a journalist dies on the spot. And yes, I said journalist, because like him or not, Perez isn't just a gossip blogger anymore. He creates content, he reports stories, and if he's recognized as a journalist in this case, he has protections. Protections Blake's team clearly hoped they could bulldoze. So now we're watching the exact same dynamic as the Hamner case. Blake, with her army of lawyers, and what looks like Ryan Reynolds quietly footing the bill from the shadows, trying to squash someone who doesn't have the same resources. Perez standing alone, refusing to crack. And whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny the irony. In trying to make Perez irrelevant, Blake has made him more relevant than he's been in years. See the pattern yet? Pick fights with people who can't fight back. Avoid the ones who can. Which brings us to Megyn Kelly. Blake's team thought they could subpoena Kelly the same way they went after Perez, but here's the difference. Kelly has resources. She has lawyers. She's not intimidated by Hollywood tactics. And what happened? Blake's team backed down. They folded like a cheap Dollar Tree lawn chair. That subpoena vanished faster than Blake's claim of being a supporter of women. And that's the tell. With Kimberlie Hamner, Blake pushed forward until she realized the woman wasn't rolling over. With Perez Hilton, she's still pushing because he's alone in the ring. But with Megyn Kelly, Blake's team knew they'd lose. They knew Kelly could drag them, not the other way around. So they tucked their tails and walked away. That's not business savvy. That's not brand protection. That's selective bullying. A legal strategy built on punching down, never up. And here's the brutal irony. Every time Blake tries to silence someone, she makes them louder. Kimberlie Hamner is now a symbol of the small business owner standing up to Hollywood overreach. Perez Hilton is suddenly relevant again, framed as a lone watchdog fighting corporate intimidation. And Megyn Kelly, she exposed Blake's team as all bark, no bite. Blake wanted control. What she got was a spotlight on every single crack in her image. She's not protecting her brand, she's protecting her ego. She's not fighting for women, she's fighting to be the only woman who matters, and the receipts keep piling up. The Target bottles that look like medieval torture props, the subpoenas that collapse when aimed at real power, the lawsuits that backfire the second her opponent dares to stand their ground. Because here's the truth. Blake isn't fighting confusion in the marketplace, she's fighting competition in her own head. And the moment someone smaller than her dares to rise up, she drags them into court, hoping fear will finish the job. But when the smoke clears, she looks less like a mogul and more like the mean girl at high school who calls the principal every time someone copies her hairstyle. And honestly, nothing says guilty like trying to silence people. Nothing screams insecurity like targeting Perez Hilton while pretending Billy Bush doesn't exist. Nothing proves hypocrisy like suing a 27-year-old woman for daring to use her own last name while branding yourself as a champion of women. Blake Lively wants to be the queen bee, but right now, she looks like the kid at recess who keeps taking other people's toys and crying when someone bigger finally takes one back. And if we're being real, the only reason she gets to keep playing this game is because Reynolds is bankrolling the juice boxes. Every time Blake drags someone into court, you can practically hear Ryan sighing as he Venmos the lawyers. This isn't strategy, it's allowance money at work. So here's my question for you. Is Blake Lively building a brand or burning one down lawsuit by lawsuit? Because from where I'm standing, the only thing she's trademarking is her own downfall. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is she Hollywood's sweetheart or just Hollywood's pettiest bully?